And my last topic, is this Doug Christie's fault? And that's kind of a more serious topic. And what I mean by that is, are the Kings this bad because of Doug Christie? Are they getting blown out and have all these blowouts recently and throughout the season because of Doug Christie? There's been some people that have been kind of hard on Doug Christie. There's been some fans, some critics, some news guys that have been a little bit down on Doug Christie this year. I guess one of the questions you have to ask is, if there was another coach here or a better coach, would the Kings have more wins, or would they be in a better situation? Would they be closer to a playoff spot? And it's just really hard to say. Doug is, this is his first time head coaching job, full year head coaching job. He was interim head coach last year, and he had some great moments, and they had some winning streaks during the time Doug Christie was interim head coach. They went on like a 7-8 game winning streak, I want to say, something like that, as soon as he became coach. And they had some pretty good winning games last season. This season has been very different. There's serious chemistry problems. I've always said throughout the season that it's a team issue. It's not a balanced roster, poor chemistry. Guys don't play well together. So I pulled up some Doug Christie tweets. I just did a search on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And let's go over some of the things people have to say about Doug Christie. Doug Christie is there for the team to tank. They know that they won't be going forward with him next season. That's an interesting comment from Joe Jordan, replying to Brendan Nunez. I'm not sure what Brendan Nunez said. I don't agree with that. I think they will be using him next season. I don't think Scott Perry blames Doug for this at all. Scott Perry has made comments about Doug, saying that he's developing as a coach. He knows that he's a new coach, and he says that he's developing, and he's developing with the team. So, is that the best kind of coach for an upcoming team? I'm not sure. We'll have to play it out and see. All right, Nick said, why are the Kings still employing Doug Christie? That's pretty harsh. There are some people already calling for his firing, even though he has this really bad lineup in front of him. Sacktown Sports 1140 is asking, is Doug Christie the right coach for this Sacramento Kings rebuild? And it looks like Matt George and Chris Watkins were discussing that. Nguyen Law says Doug Christie has no choice but to play younger guys more minutes now, something he shouldn't be doing. I don't see why not. They're tanking and there's no way to get to the playoffs at this point. Why not play the young guys and develop them? And plus, a lot of the starters are injured right now. Sabonis has been shut down for the season, and I want to say Levine as well. They're both getting surgery, and they're not going to be playing, so might as well. I mean, who else do you have to play besides the younger guys? Matt George was talking, is Doug Christie the right coach for the rebuild? Aluwalia said Doug Christie is about to get fired. He said that almost a day ago. All right. Talking Kings says, we all thought the Kings would be bad this season. When do we judge Doug Christie on if he's a good choice or not? Or if he's a good coach or not? Brandon Nunez said, the Sabonis news broke as we were talking to Doug Christie. It makes it tough, man. Unfortunate for us. Going to be more opportunities for some of our younger guys to continue to develop and do it in a high leverage moment. Let's see what Doug says right here.
ESPN did Sabonis is going to be out for the year because he's going to need surgery on that meniscus. When did you guys kind of learn about that?
It makes it tough, man. You feel for Zach, you feel for Domas, because you know how much hard work they and a professional athlete in general puts into what their life dream is and being successful. So unfortunate for us, going to be more opportunities for some of our young players to continue to develop and do it in high leverage moments, because like I said, we're here to win basketball games.
That's interesting that he says that they're here to win basketball games. I mean, I know that's what you're supposed to do in sports and competitive sports, but this team is not trying to win games anymore at this point. They'll keep Doug around for next season, at least until Mike Brown, I'm thinking, contract is done. Haha. The Kings are giving Doug Christie more latitude than Mike Brown for one season. Interesting. They said nobody trying to play for Doug Christie. Wow. How will this affect his ability to play 3 quarters and be sat by Doug Christie? Damn. Yeah, Zach LaVine also will have season-ending right-hand surgery. Sacramento Kings on SI is asking, is it fair to judge Doug Christie based on this Kings season? And that's pretty much what I was saying. I mean, can we really judge him based on this season? Is that fair? I don't believe so. Is Doug perfect? I don't believe he's been perfect either. You know, Doug has things he needs to work on, just like this team does, and he's learning. Is a developing coach good for a developing team? Maybe. We'll have to see how it goes, you know, next year when we have more players and Scott Perry has more of a touch on this team. We'll see what kind of moves Scott Perry's able to do, and we'll have to wait till next season to see what kind of job Doug Christie does as a head coach. I don't believe he's going to be fired. Is he to blame for how bad they're doing? He probably has some of the blame. Is he to blame for some of these blowouts? You know, who knows? It's probably the roster more than anything, and the fact that he has tons of injured players. And he's playing with a lot of rookies and young guys and G League players more than anything. That's probably has more to do with it than Doug Christie. You know, blowouts shouldn't happen to any coach. Would there be less of them if there was another coach here? It's possible. Doug is this is his first full season as a head coach. You know, he's learning. He's going to see what works for him and what doesn't work, and hopefully he'll be able to learn from any mistakes or from his mistakes and be a better coach from there. I think Doug Christie could be a good coach. We'll have to see with a better roster, though.